It's the first patch of the year and it got leaked last week.
Might never do it again.
But that was subject to change. Here's the official patch update. Let's dive in.
I have been falling for 30 minutes!
The nerf a lot of people were calling for, the question was always going to be, how do you nerf Loki? Well, his stats remain the same, but his new ability now reads, on reveal, transform your hand into cards from your opponent's starting deck and give them -1 cost. Now, with this simple change of one word, they've taken away Loki's best synergy for power on the board, the Collector. Because cards are no longer entering your hand, they are being transformed, and therefore the Collector doesn't get buffed by Loki. This takes away Loki's power potential, but he still retains the ability to discount and thus more effectively play your opponent's cards against them.
Hi.
Oh, she caught everybody by surprise because we all assumed it would be hard to meet the unique cost requirement, right? But Ms. Marvel has since become a staple in the metagame. Well, let's see if Ms. Marvel's change pushes her down a bit. She goes from a 4/5 to a 4/4 and her ability now reads, your adjacent locations with 2+ cards and no repeated costs have +5 power. So yes, you now need 2 cards instead of just 1 in her adjacent locations. So it does make it a little bit harder to get to her to proc, but honestly, I'm usually getting 2 or more cards next to her anyway, so I don't actually see this as a huge issue. This makes me sad though, like he was seen quite a bit, yeah I guess, during the junk meta of December 2023, but now you rarely see Anihilist. Anihilist goes from a 5/7 to a 5/6. On reveal, your cards with power below 0 switch sides. Destroy those that can't. So not only did he lose power, he can no longer toss or destroy rocks or 0 power cards anymore. Like even before Selene came out, they made Black Widow and Viper more expensive to play. They're key cards in the Toxic Junk archetype, right? So Selene pretty much fell flat on her face when she came out. RIP Toxic Junk archetype. Hey, I'm speculating here, but I think they want to curtail the Toxic Junk archetype because it's a feels bad style of play, you know what I'm saying? And Marvel Snap at its core is designed to not be a zero-sum game when it comes to fun. And if I'm getting locked out of playing cards in the lane, well, that's no fun.
I am the immortal Dracula. You cannot hurt me.
Okay, so this is more of a side grade than an up or downgrade because there are pros and cons here. Dracula is now a 4/1. At the end of the game, discard a card from your hand to gain its power. Okay, so previously with Dracula, it didn't matter what permanent buffs or affliction you gave him, he would become the power of the card you discarded at the end of the game, right? Now, any permanent buff or affliction to Dracula from cards or locations is added to his final total power. So for example, previously you could safely play Dracula into a high evil Cyclops lane with no consequence. Now, Dracula will retain all those negative afflictions when calculating his final power total. They finally got around to buffing this guy. Angel's stats remain the same, but now he flies out of your hand or deck to replace a destroyed card. Now can we get M'Baku to do that as well? Okay, personally, I think this next one is gonna be huge. Quake's stats remain the same, but her ability now reads, on reveal, swap the positions of the other 2 locations. Imagine you storm a lane and your opponent starts overcommitting to it while you fill out the other lane, and then you play Quake, and now a lane that you've buffed up is the flooded location. I expect to see her become a staple. Here's another card that needed a bit of a rework. Kingpin goes from a 3/4 to a 2/3. His new ability reads, when an enemy card moves here, afflict it with -2 power. So yeah, this is a huge upgrade because now he's useful on any turn. His effect is now asymmetrical, so you don't have to worry about your own cards getting his affliction, giving us very interesting synergies with Spider-Man, Polaris, and Hercules. Speaking of Kingpin, his base of operations is changing to Fisk Tower. Now reads, when a card moves here, afflict it with -4 power. Still a terrible location for move cards, but now maybe a little bit more playable. There you go. How do the patch updates affect your decks? What buffed cards are you excited to try out now? Hey, let me know in the comments.